Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel, and today we want to talk about a book we both find very interesting, which is called Rebel Love. So stay tuned. The name of the book is Rebel Love, Break the Rules, Destroy Toxic Habits, and Have the Best Sex of Your Life. So we're not gonna go into depth of the book. We can probably talk about this book for hours. It has a lot of great content and material, but we will touch up on the things that we found the most, I wouldn't even say interesting, I'd say amazing. He has some really great insights about sex and communication and even body shaming and the way we talk about just sex life in general. So let's jump right in. One of the first things that I feel like Dr. Donaghue did really well in this book is like bring us up to speed with the new dating norms. We live in 2019, we live in the 21st century, and people need to embrace their sexuality and be comfortable in their own bodies and be okay with how they look, who they are, and the type of sex that they engage in. And that's one of the things that I think that stood out the most for me, that I think is one of the reasons why people should read it. When I go visit my aunt in Mexico, like, she still lives with the mindset that it's like you should wait to find a husband to have sex. And it's like that type of thinking is not relevant to the way we live our lives now. And I truly believe that. I mean, I respect my aunt. I think she's an amazing person, but I also think like that is not how I want to live my sex life. I don't have to wait. People don't have to wait to have sex to get married if that's what they choose. And, society needs to be okay with at whatever moment you want to have sex, that's your decision. If you want to have sex with multiple people, that's your decision. If you don't want to have sex at all, if you want to, experiment and do whatever feels comfortable to do, you should do it. So that's the thing that I feel like stood out to me the most. The book is very easy to read. It's pretty straightforward, and I think everybody should pick up a copy. So my sister got me on the bandwagon of reading this book, and when I first started reading it, boy, was it an eye-opener. And I would say one of the first things that stood out to me is Dr. Donaghue talks about dating to be known, not to be liked. And that really stood out to me because I feel like when I first started dating, I wasn't 100% myself. I found it a little easier to kind of like a bit more the things that they liked and just kind of agree with it and go with it. But he really touches a good point on being your authentic self. Like, you're going to date me, the person that I am now, not the person you're going to be maybe when you lose some weight or when you change your style. None of that. It's to be very authentic and to find people that are going to like you for who you are. One of the things that kind of really hit home for me when I was reading the book is chapter 4 is called Good Sex is Ethical Sex, and that is so important. I think that as a society, we treat one night stands like it's something to be ashamed of, like it's dirty, like you shouldn't even talk about it. It goes all the way to the extent that people are like, there's a walk of shame after you do it. And, that's so wrong and closed-minded, and it just makes people feel really shitty for doing it in the first place. He says that good sex is ethical sex, which means consensual sex, meaning asking, compassionate, being honest, and without guilt or shame. It's very important to have honest communication with people and let them know how you feel. These game planes, beating around the bush, stringing people along is no. Because at the end of the at the end, what it ends up leading to is just disappointment. And it sucks because those are some of the things that are kind of hard to get over, or getting ghosted, or getting strung along. Like, all of those things as a dater hurt. It truly hurts. And I feel like for me, I used to do that. I used to either just stop talking to people or just be like, whatever. And after reading this, it's just kind of like, if I don't like it, why would anybody else like it? So I think it's very important to be like, hey, I had a good time, or hey, the time was great, but I'm not interested, or I have no more chemistry. Whether you had sex, whether you kissed, whatever it is that happened throughout the date and your encounter, it's really good to be honest, to be like, I liked it or I didn't. And you know what? Sometimes it's not always going to get reciprocated. And that's okay too. You know, it's okay. As long as you were honest about how you felt, for me, what I've learned, that's all that matters. It's not always going to get reciprocated. Sometimes they might not even text back, and that's okay, because I feel like that just makes room for other people, hopefully, that are better texters. And I feel like it's really important to be a good texter. That's all it takes, is honest communication. I'm not feeling you. It's not there. Yeah, that one time was great, but it's not something I want to continue. Let's just at least honor people that much to let them know, to be like, yes, no, maybe I do want to see you again. I don't. If you're feeling them, let them know. And I think I've learned to jump the gun, to be like, hey, I had a good time. I'm not going to wait to be like, let's see, let me wait around the clock to see if they like me or not, or if they had a good time. They're also not mind readers either.
I think he really validated my feelings when it came to feeling vulnerable, and it's okay to be the first one to make the first move. Women shouldn't be afraid to do that, especially if you really like somebody. You should go for it. And I think a lot of times men are flattered. I think the last couple of relationships I was in, I initiated those, just FYI, you know, and I made it happen for myself, you know. So I think it's just, you know, it's nice to be able to be like, well, I like you, you know, and I think the rejection part sucks, but I think that that's something you have to get used to as part of the dating world. But the more we can be honest, I think the way more enjoyable that dating will be overall. But I think the other thing too is like, I want my kid to also be very respectful and also enjoy his like sex life and dating life as well. And I want him to be honest with women, you know. I don't want him to be another jerk or fuckboy or whatever. And I want him to be able to, you know, making sure that he's asking for consent and he's being honest and he's communicating and he doesn't feel guilty about any of the things that he does. And also like not slut shaming women. Like all those things are very important for my son to know and understand as he grows up and becoming a man.
I feel like for me, what really like that Dr. Donaghue really just, I saw throughout the whole book, is just treating people with kindness and compassion. It's very important. Yes, in dating and in your sex life, because like he says, you wouldn't treat anybody outside of that any more different. So why treat the people you're dating or having sex with any less than? And I feel like that's very important, because that shows a lot in a person and in their character. And not everything's going to go well. Not every date's going to be great. Not every sex is going to be great. But letting people know, just treating them with kind and compassion is very, very important. Anyways, please, if you guys get a chance, pick up this book. Follow him on Instagram. He gives really good advice. You won't regret it. You know, if you're dating, married, interested in about sex, different things, just read it. It's a really good read. Like we said, it's very straight to the point. Just because, you know, he writes about it doesn't mean you have to accept everything or be okay with everything, because we're not going to agree with everything, but it's like, it's out there though. You know, don't be too quick to shut it down, you know, and I truly appreciate that. There are some things that, you know, we are into and then we don't, but don't make people feel bad for it.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in our next video.
Bye.